sound like I have like on an EQ, I have just the mid up and then pushed everything down, like a radio.
Yeah, you do sound kind of tinny.
Yeah.
Well, you have an SM57, whereas we're both using SM58s. If you take
we're 58. That's a 57.
Yeah. Here, look how embarrassing this is. Take the little cushion thing off.
Okay.
Look how skinny this thing is. How embarrassing. Whereas you and I, we got the dome.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Makes me do this every time. Whenever a guest is over, just embarrassment.
Yep. Just I have to bring him down a peg so he knows what the pecking order is. You know?
Take your microphone cover off.
It's time for everyone's favorite game, So Wig Won't Forget. I've selected 5 musical artists who wear wigs. I'll give you the title of one of their well-known songs with a hair-related pun worked into it. You must guess who the artist is. Either of you can answer at any time, but you may only answer once per artist. The winner gets to clip a piece of hair at their desired length from the loser using these scissors.
I have a wedding on Saturday.
So you better win.
The stakes are high.
You better win.
The stakes are so high.
I think Owen's a gentleman and would probably just give you a
Yeah,
dead end
yeah,
cut or
we'll
something,
do it.
you know. Let's play Rocket Main.
Elton John.
We pressed it at the same time.
No, she beat you. Elton John has had alopecia since he was a child, so he has almost always been seen wearing a wig. Rug and Roll All Night.
AC/DC.
Incorrect.
Kiss.
Correct. You're up 2-0. How's your scalp feeling, boy?
There's no button, but we're both in position, if that makes sense.
Gene Simmons has been bald for decades.
Even when he had his reality show?
Oh, yeah. That's a rug.
Wow. That's good work.
Holla back curls.
Gwen Stefani.
Correct. Wow. Gwen Stefani claims that she has not been seen in her real hair since the 9th grade. I think it's probably more extensions in her case. W.A.T. Wet Ass Toupee.
Michael Jackson?
No.
I thought...
Cardi
it's
B.
Cardi B.
Cardi B, correct. You were thinking P.Y.T.
Yeah, I was.
Got it. Well, you can think upon that as your hair is being sawn off your head. Cardi B wears a wig at most of her live performances, but she wore a whopping 6 different wigs at the same time for her interview and photograph in Interview magazine.
That was a great pun. I think it went under the radar.
And number 5, let's see if you can get a perfect score. I don't think we've ever had a guest get a perfect score on a game. I will always brush you. Owen? Oh.
Slipped.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton is correct.
The tricky thing with that question, folks, is it Whitney Houston?
Oh, yeah.
Or Dolly Parton.
Sure.
I was going to say Whitney Houston.
Dolly Parton has been wearing wigs since her first appearance on the Porter Wagoner Show in 1967.
An American icon.
What's Whitney Houston's favorite type of coordination? Hand-eye.
We're doing this right now?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
So you get to choose how cruel you want to be.
This is not... I thought this prize was going to be fun. I thought this game was going to be fun.
Oh, I feel so...
It's your okay.
mother know this is happening?
She's in Colorado.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Okay. We're gonna do a little classic and like keep it maybe...
Okay. I can't wear hats in school, so keep that in mind.
Oh my god.
Wow, that was merciful.
My hair looks strange just from the hat hair.
That wasn't me, kid.
This is Deep Dive Divas. Each episode, myself and a guest diva listen to every blessed studio album by an artist of their choosing and share our findings with you.
At least my headphones are covering up the little spot, I think.
Our guest today is Michelle. Michelle is an architect in Philadelphia who would like to learn to play the bass and wants you all to check out the podcast entitled Dead Eyes. She is not on this podcast. Goodbye.
I don't think I remember that song.
Michelle, for today's episode, you chose Khruangbin. Why?
They're my favorite band.
Ever?
Definitely right now and since 2018. So we're looking at 5 years now of them being my definitive number one favorite
That's
band.
a long time to have a favorite band.
For those who are not familiar, Khruangbin are a band. It's hard to list them as any genre because they are like the chameleons of the music world, I would say.
I remember first discovering them and like when I read the genre under their name on Spotify,
Just say stuff.
it said Thai funk. And I'm like,
What is that?
what does that mean?
Thai funk actually has like a pretty big, it's a pretty big genre.
Sure, but I think they transcend that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
I couldn't pick one thing they are, you know?
I think that's the closest per se,
Yeah.
but I agree. They transcend
Psych,
that.
almost. Psych, they feel more psych to me.
I'd put them down as psych indie funk.
Groovy? Is that a genre?
No.
When I was on the dating apps, you can list bands now, and I clearly listed Khruangbin. And I found that a lot of gentlemen that listed Khruangbin also had a lot of jam bands listed, a lot of Fish, So I found that interesting.
On my dating app, I listed Motley Crue, but no one showed up.
Yeah, no, the leather
No one showed up
mamas.
to my party.
Oh, okay. Khruangbin, much like the Queen, are from Houston, Texas. Khruangbin have 4 albums to date, although judging by how the show usually goes, typically when we do an episode on a band, they put out an album about within 2 months after we put the episode out, thus making the episode obsolete.
I feel like we're kind of safe on that with Laura having her child.
I don't think so. I think that baby's going to play tambourine and they're going to make it a family band situation.
Yes, hi, hello, it's me from the future. Just calling to let you know that Khruangbin announced in January of 2024 that they would be putting out a new record. This announcement came out after this podcast was recorded. And the album came out just a few weeks before this podcast's release. So check it out. Bye.
Khruangbin dabbles in all sorts of music, ranging from the unhelpful, quote, global genre to funk and soul and even psychedelia. Follow me back, if you will, to the year of 2004. Owen, you were not alive yet.
Some would say in spirit.
And one Donald DJ Johnson is playing the organ at St. John's Methodist Church in Houston, Texas.
Yeah! And do you know who's in attendance at this church?
Is it Mark Spear?
And
Beyonce?
her mother.
Whoa!
So like Beyonce's been a big deal. She's very busy. She probably can't go to every Sunday service in Houston, Texas.
But she makes sure to be there when Donald DJ Johnson is playing.
But her
those
mother's
organs.
probably going.
That's true.
And even in their own interviews, they introduce themselves like, yes, we met at church. It's the same church where Beyonce's mother goes. And I think that's the coolest fact. Like what is the energy in this church? Like what cosmic mojo exists
It can
here?
only be described as Bay. So Mark Spear becomes the guitarist of the St. John's Methodist Church in Houston, Texas. And both of them are getting paid to play in this church. They're professionals.
Ooh.
It's a very progressive church run by Rudy Rasmus, who managed to raise $30 million for permanent housing for unhoused folks in Houston, which is called the Knowles to Manos Housing Projects after, obviously, Beyonce, the Queen Bee. And it also provides free HIV and AIDS testing to its congregants, no questions asked. And Rudy Rasmus also frequently travels the world with Beyonce, setting up food programs across the globe for areas combating hunger.
Interesting. I feel like that should get more PR.
You
That's
should think
awesome.
so. But no, instead, we're just here talking about Khruangbin instead of world hunger.
We should have a World
Because
Hunger
you're
episode.
selfish, Michelle.
That's an entirely different show.
We are the world.
I don't think it is. Owen's in tune with it. In 2007, Mark has, between playing in the church, he has also been playing with a bunch of random bands around Houston. And according to an interview with Vulture, Mark Spear is watching a documentary about music in Afghanistan when his friend drops in for a visit. And along with that friend was one Laura Lee Ochoa, who was also really into Afghani music. What are the chances? And she's actually studying Afghani music in college in Houston, Texas.
That story almost seems scripted.
Yeah.
But I love it.
So obviously, because they are like the only two people this side of the hemisphere that would be interested in such a thing, they click, and after some time and friendship, Mark says to Laura, "You know what, honey butt?" I don't think he called her honey butt.
It would also sound more Southern. He has an accent.
You know what, honey butt? It rhymes more that way. You're so right. He did say it that way. I'm currently in a band
There you go.
that needs a bassist.
He doesn't talk like that either.
You know
but keep
what,
going.
honey boy?
Oi, Goof, I need a bassist for my rock and roll band.
What is he, a monster in like Sherlock Holmes?
This is great.
Mark tells Laura, I need a bassist. And Laura conveniently does not play bass at all at this time. But she joins the band anyway. And what a go-getter. I think really the hero of the piece is Laura Lee Ochoa saying, I'll learn this instrument. I have no idea how to play for you.
It's kind of like exactly the opposite of the Sid Vicious deal.
Exactly. Yeah. She actually had any wherewithal and talent. So Laura says, quote, I still sort of play shapes instead of playing what people know as A, B, various letters and stuff. So for her, it's really just like she's pressing an area on the neck of the bass and she knows it makes a certain sound, which I think is amazing. Like that's
I never heard that before. I love that.
Wild way of learning any instrument.
As someone also interested in just picking up specifically the bass because of her, out of the blue.
Sure. You shouldn't pick up her bass. That's robbery. And we have laws in this country against that.
But not in Britain.
By 2010, just 6 months after Mark basically teaches her how to play bass, she auditions to support a solo artist named Ipa, who is out on tour. So she is auditioning to go and be this guy's bassist. Mark is also on that tour playing guitar, and Ipa opens up for Bonobo. After they tour together, they get it into their heads that they must make music together, and they sequester themselves in a barn in Burton, Texas, a place that has a mere 300 human inhabitants.
The barn.
Khruangbin records everything at this barn, including their singles for their first few years as a band. And they come back and they get DJ to join on drums. Mark remembers DJ from church and he says, come on out to the barn. In short order, after posting a couple of these singles, they are offered their first show. Laura was studying the Thai language, and when tasked with coming up with a band name, she offered Khruangbin, which means airplane to us English speakers. The band wishes they had picked a name that was easier to pronounce in hindsight. They regret picking.
I remember reading that interview, and he's like, I didn't think we were going to make it this big. If I had known,
we would have gone with
we
something
might have
else.
worked another.
There's a lot of Thai words. Mark and Laura at this first show immediately out the gate start wearing similar wigs. And they say they do this so that they can work their merch table before and after their set without being recognized. It's kind of a smart move. Laura borrows outfits from London designers, posts pictures and credits the designers, and then returns the outfits. Brilliant move.
I didn't know she returned them.
So she doesn't...
That's so much more sustainable. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's brilliant.
I love her sense of fashion.
Except the wig.
No, but it all works. Like sometimes I really forget that they're wigs.
How would you guys describe these wigs? So again, I can't stress this enough. Both Mark and Laura have identical, it's the same wig.
I will say Mark's is not as well maintained as Laura's.
Yeah.
Sure.
His is,
But I still think it's the same wig.
I think they started the same. I think
Do you think she's brushing hers or something?
I think hers looks well maintained,
his
shiny,
goes in the bottom of like a duffel
clean.
bag at the end of each show.
Sometimes I look at his hair and I'm like, or his wig's hair, and I'm
Yeah.
like, a wig should not be this messy.
Yeah.
I'm just finding it out now that's a wig.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was his real hair. Yeah.
No.
It's really tough. Like
Yeah.
it looks frizzy sometimes in like certain lighting.
I've heard it referred to as a page boy wig. I think like calling it like a Cleopatra wig is
more
closer.
accurate. Yeah,
the
Cleopatra
bang
like-
comes down to like the eyebrows.
Jet black,
And
eyebrow
straight.
length, straight.
In 2014, Khruangbin put out their first EP called The Infamous Bill. But we don't talk about EPs or live albums on the show, so we won't mention it at all. But again, it is The Infamous Bill. I do think it does a really good job of anticipating everything that's going to come from them. Bonobo puts out their song Calf Born in Winter on his Late Night Tales compilation, and people really like the track. And this is really, I think, the thing that gets them to start building up a true following. The following year, Khruangbin put out their second EP, which again, we won't mention at all, but it's called History of Flight. I think this EP is a little more fleshed out than the first. I think it gets closer to what their sound is going to be like later. I also noticed the guitar work really steps up in this one as well. But again, we're not going to talk about it at all.
Yeah, I won't even mention it, but I listened to it and I kind of liked it, but I won't talk about it.
Yeah. Michelle, what do you think about this EP?
I did not listen to this EP.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's
all,
better.
that's all right. You did listen to their first album, which also comes out in 2015, called The Universe Smiles Upon Hugh Hefner. This album is released by English record label Nighttime Stories. This is also Bonobo's record label.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
This album is but 10 songs long, very tight. Out the gate, their lead-off track, entitled Mr. White, I'm guessing it's a Breaking Bad reference. It's gotta be, right? It just felt so jammy to me. I didn't like it. To me, it reminded me of TV Guide channel music.
If I have to pick an yucky song, it's this.
Mr. White.
Yeah.
The very first Khruangbin song on an official release.
It's The Rain for me.
You don't like The Rain?
Not right out the gate.
Okay. You
Well,
gotta earn it.
I just kind of want to know, like, I want to know, have you ever seen The Rain?
I think Mr. White is so meh compared to everything else.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of fine on its own, but seeing where that album goes is way more exciting. And I'm just like,
A lot of it reminds me of the Lo-Fi Hip Hop Beats YouTube channel.
Yeah.
With that girl who's
Lo-Fi
minding
girl.
her studies. Yeah.
So I vividly remember the first time I decided to play this album. So my senior year, my senior thesis project took place in Hawaii. So I went out in January between, like right after the holidays, and
Well, aloha mai.
yes, and around this time of year, like early January, is when a lot of the music festivals start getting announced, right? That's when like people drop their lineups for the festivals coming in that like summertime. And Khruangbin showed up on this one lineup. I think it was in Kentucky. I forget the name of it. And two people that like don't know each other, but I had really respected their music taste, said when I reposted it on Facebook, "Oh, Khruangbin, they're awesome." And I'm like,
You're getting it on the ground
interesting.
floor. Yeah.
Like interesting that both of these people would recommend this band. I've never really heard of them. I come back from Hawaii. My job lays me off. I'm so devastated. I'm in the middle of like my senior year. I'm stressed. I'm confused. I'm upset. I need to like make a project happen. I need to find a job. Not feeling great about myself. And I wake up like the first Monday where I should have gone to work. And I know I need to do homework or do something. I need to get out of bed. And I don't know how to feel. I don't know what music to listen to. I don't want to put on a TV show. So I throw this on, and it was just neutral, but okay. Like it was incredibly reassuring. It was like, it's okay to feel down, but we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
And this album just sort of got me through so much like confusion and really like sadness.
Sure. I think one of the first tracks I ever heard by Khruangbin was Dern Kala. And it is legitimately so soothing and interesting. And I wish all of their music sounded just like this song, because it is my yummy, yummy song.
Same.
Is it? Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, to me, it's just perfect. This to me is like the sound of summer. Like that to me is like everything's laid back and just fun, chilled out, wonderful.
Groovy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little sexy. It's kind of a sexy song, I think.
This album's also home to my yummy yummy track, which would be White Gloves.
That's a very good one.
I think it's one of their most interesting. I play that guitar riff every time I pick up a guitar. I really like it. And
Are you wearing white gloves while you do so? Like
yeah.
some freak mouse or bunny?
or like Michael Jack. I don't know.
He wore
He
glove.
wore one.
Yeah. And look where that got him.
Dead. He's dead. I really like his voice on it. Which
Yeah. So this is something for me. I wish they sung more on Khruangbin songs. I definitely like their vocal tracks more than most of their instrumental tracks, with the exception of Dern Kala.
She was a fighter. She was a queen. Had a good brought me a rabbit. She was a queen.
I give this album a 7.
Okay.
Which is kind of,
Wow. Very high.
yeah, it's pretty high.
Honestly, yeah, I'm sticking with an 8.
Awesome.
This like this album really like came
feels
at
like an
a
8.
big old time.
I don't want to rain on your guys' party parade or whatever you want to call it.
Party parade. Yes. Go on.
But this album's also home to my Yuck Icky song.
What's your yuck
Oh
ick?
no.
Which one's your yuck ick?
What do you got?
It's August 12th.
Oh, I don't even remember it.
Because it was boring.
So Max Savage from Paste magazine calls this record, quote, a subtle dance, a constellation of small movements, and highly nuanced arrangements that unfold seamlessly like ripples on the water. And that, I think, is one of the more poetic reviews I've ever read of an album, and I think it's accurate. The band takes to the road, opening for Massive Attack, which is a wild pairing, but also Father John Misty, and that makes a lot of sense to me.
I can see that.
They also play festivals such as Glastonbury, Austin City Limits, and South by Southwest.
They're getting it.
In 2017, Khruangbin contributes a cover version of Iranian singer Gugush and her track Mabeham Narisium to a compilation record entitled Philia, Artists Rise Against Islamophobia. 2018, they put out their second record, Con todo el mundo, which means with all the world. And it comes out of something that Laura's grandfather used to say.
I love this story.
So he would ask her, ¿Cómo me quieres? How do you love me? Right? Like, how much do you love me? And you were only allowed to respond, Con todo el mundo, with all the world. There was only one correct answer.
I love this story. I think it's super personal and super heartwarming. I also love that we're reoccurring in this theme. We're continuing with this concept of love, internationalism with all the world, the universe. It's really fitting, and that like kind of personal anecdote is adorable. Like these kind of weird things we share and do with other generations. So this album is my favorite. All the wonderful things that they did start to explore in The Universe Smiles Upon You, they really bring to full fruition on Con todo el mundo. They explore more with that international and that concept. It's even in their music videos. The music video for Maria Tambien, I believe, featured footage of a Middle Eastern country that I think in the late 80s or maybe the 70s kind of have a huge regime overthrow. Iran, yes. And so it had footage of women pre that, like I think in the early 70s.
In like bell bottoms.
Completely
flowing
westernized.
blouses,
It looked just like Britain. And I thought, I did not know that part of their history. And so I love that Maria Tambien, they kind of used their music video and that opportunity to kind of like explore and expose that part of the history.
Yeah.
I think Evan in the third room, so much fun. That's where I think vocals are used in such a fun way. I think all of Laura Lee's bass lines consistently. I don't know if there's a weak point on this album. I'm really pressed too.
I'd like to say that my biggest note in my spreadsheet is that in Evan Finds the Third Room, when they're saying, "This is the third room," it sounds like, if you listen to it, this tastes like bird poop. But I'd also like to go against everything you just said. Not in a mean way, but just in a personal way. And this is my least favorite of theirs.
It's actually my least favorite as well. I just think like in terms of energy, it was like the lowest energy for me. I like when they're like more loud and boisterous, which I think you get more on other albums.
That's
but
exactly
to
what
each
I
their
said.
own.
Yep.
We have bad opinions. Critics loved this album. Pitchfork's Aaron McLeod wrote, quote, Con todo el mundo crafts a unique psychedelic vibe that hangs between continents and eras. And I think that is absolutely true and a very apt description of the band in general.
I feel validated.
Leon Bridges asks Khruangbin to open for him.
Saw that tour.
Okay.
That was at the Fillmore. And
Wow.
unfortunately, we couldn't stay for Leon Bridges, but we made sure just to go to
You got to see what you wanted to see. Yeah.
Because we had tickets to see Always.
Okay.
So
All right.
we saw the
Always,
opener
you mean?
at Leon Bridges, Always. Shame
They
on
spell
me.
with
Sorry,
two Vs.
Polyvinyl.
They will later play at Austin City Limits with Leon Bridges, and later on they will do the same with Trey Anastasio from Fish. In 2020, and wild to think that we're already that close to present day, Indie, as in a small scale and from Indiana, label Dead Oceans
So cool.
puts out The Bin's third record. I don't know if anyone calls them The Bin, but I do. Puts out The Bin's third record, Mordecai.
And we're in America.
I think at this point, this is where the band expanded. And I feel like this is where they gained a lot of success and fans from this album.
This is the album that they won me over as a fan. This is my favorite Khruangbin record. It's also only 10 songs long. You have some singing on First Class.
And that was something they admitted they wanted to do and explore. I think working with Leon Bridges on that Texas EP opened them up to that style of song, that new, and it was, I'm sure it was probably something different and interesting to kind of incorporate into their sound. And what I love about it, and I heard this in an interview, you probably have it in your notes, was they frequently were asked this question, oh, who's the lead singer? And they admitted all of us.
We are the lead singer.
they share the singing responsibilities,
Yeah.
and I think that's fabulous. And in an interview, it's like they had to, change octaves for certain singing portions to kind of make sure that all three of them could hit it. And I think that is
so
super
awesome. Yeah.
cool and thoughtful, and like it kind of keeps that shared equality as a unit and a team, and not letting one person really like take over.
Right.
Speaking of singing,
Uh-huh.
I have a little segment on this show called Lyric of the Day, or the episode. Where I pick my favorite bad lyric to explain it more. So it's a lyric that I think is, say, corny or of that sort.
Uh-huh.
This is from, I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Coração stiffes.
Right?
I love the lyrics in this song, so
I'm just-
I'm getting defensive.
I have lived at least 9 lives. So are you a cat? A tiger is a kind of cat. Have you earned your stripes? I like to go where I choose to go. So you have. Maybe you do too.
I like this song a lot. That's what makes me
I like
happy.
the song.
The
It's
song
just
is my yuck icky song. The fact that it's about 5 minutes long kills it for me. And I also find the music to be so minimalistic
I really like this one.
compared to, yeah, it's just not for me. It's not for me. I'd hate talk singing. It's really like my least favorite thing in the world.
I think it's
They
one
should have thought about that, how I would receive it. No,
Today-
it's just to my taste. It's not for me. That's all.
To that I say, a tiger is a kind of cat.
Are you a cat?
Tiger is a kind of cat.
Have you earned your stripes?
I like to go where I choose to go.
So critics really like this album. Slant Magazine's Sophia Ordaz wrote, quote, while past Khruangbin albums risk coming off merely as studied tributes to the microcosms of Thai and Iranian rock, Mordecai finds Khruangbin coming into their own, thanks to the band's lyrical development and the honing of their infusion of intercontinental influences. I think Sophia is right.
Each episode, we like to highlight the up-and-coming work of a discography developing diva. Today, that is First Boy on the Moon. First Boy on the Moon are a group from Malmö, Sweden. We're going to be playing a track from their latest LP entitled Cyber Girl, which is available at their Bandcamp. They have been receiving regular rotation on their local radio station in Sweden, P4 Malmö hosts. How great's that? It is now time to look at me now. I'm falling. I can't even talk. Still stuttering. With First Boy on the Moon and their track, Dreamer.
He tells her that it's on the rocks, it ain't level. No, tractor flies the plane. And every time the moon comes out, they're in trouble. Like a moth into the flame. But she said the stars are still shining. See those diamonds way up high. And all night long he sees the dreamer with her head up in the sky. Stephen, come on, take my hand. I will She says every day is peaceful. Oh, so peaceful, it's a crime. And those crazy feelings make me happy. Oh, so happy I could die. To him every word is like thunder, calling out someone to blame. He sees the iceberg, she sees the fire. All in all, it's still the same. Stephen, come on, take my hand. I will help you understand. There's no one else I'd rather see tonight. Yeah, I will treat you nice. Stephen, come on, take my hand. I will help you understand. There's nobody else for you tonight. And I will treat you nice. And now that it's plain to see, the luck that we're gonna need keeps us running after more. So if we still want to try, we'll call it an alibi and hang a peace sign on the door. Stephen, come on, take my hand. I will help you understand. There's nobody else for you tonight. Yeah, I will treat you nice.
You can hear more from First Boy on the Moon. Listen to a playlist of our favorite Khruangbin songs. Visit our shop and social media pages, contact us, view our citations, and so much more by using the links in this episode's show notes.
So Mordecai hits number 4 in Australia and Belgium, 7 in the UK, and 31 in the USA on the Billboard 200 charts. So very successful for, such a disparate and eclectic band.
Well deserved.
The pandemic seems to reduce them to doing just their Air Krung DJ series online.
Did you listen to those?
Yeah, just a couple of them, but it's neat. It seemed like a way to pass the time.
I think artists were just like,
We need
what
something to
What
do."
can I do?
And they just came off of an album and a tour, and they were ready to go back into that life.
How do we stay relevant off of this album without being able to tour? Yeah, no, it was a tough question.
Yeah, but I think their fan base really enjoyed it. In 2022, and Michelle, you have an issue with this, they put out their 4th record entitled Ali, along with Vu Farka Torre.
Issue is a bit harsh.
It is both a covers and a collaboration record, which we don't typically count on this show.
I was gonna say, I feel like this is a gray area because it's not holistically original.
But they call it one of their studio albums.
Yeah, but
and
they call it one of their studio
And
albums.
I'm not going to tell them no.
Fair enough.
If I may just give a little context
Please
to
do.
what this album is. So these are covers of the work of Ala Farka Torre, who we talked about previously on the show, but it's also Vu Farka Torre's father. And Ali Farka Torre is known as the creator of a genre of music known as African Desert Blues. He's from Mali in the northwestern section of Africa, which is known as Timbuktu.
I feel like, we've been talking so much about their global reach in Australia, and, you have all these songs and stories.
London.
In Spanish. Yeah, you guys with your accents. No, but yeah, with Bonos.
Yeah. Bonobos.
Bonobos.
Yeah, yeah.
And then with like their consistent fascination with Middle Eastern culture. I feel like now we're bringing in some more like African influences.
Yeah,
like
yep.
it's almost like a scratch off the map type of
Sure,
thing of
sure.
like, what haven't we touched
Like
yet?
they have a bingo card that they're trying to get all
in
filled
like
out.
in a beautiful way.
No, it
I feel like
doesn't-
that explanation makes it sound hacky.
Sure.
But no, I think it's cool. Like if they're using their global transcendence in ways to kind of like keep reinventing very effortlessly. I
Yep.
think,
And I think, like you
pulled
said
off really
earlier,
easily.
there actually are similarities between like the Middle Eastern music that they're trying to not replicate but pay homage to, as well as Middle Eastern, and which makes sense because culturally there's a lot of give and take between those areas.
1,000%.
Ali Farkatore is a frequent collaborator of Ry Cooder. We talked about him a lot because Ry Cooder is kind of the mastermind behind the Buena Vista Social Club. And Ali Farkatore is also the mayor of his town, known as Niafunki. And he literally uses his money to improve the physical infrastructure of his town, spanning from, the creation of roads to the installation of electricity. So it's a guy who really put his money where his mouth was. He loved where he lived, and his son is kind of taking a lot of his music along with Khruangbin and trying to repackage it and present it to the world again. It's pretty neat.
Upon this assignment, I started to like unpack that same context. And although like I don't love this album, I love everything that this musician and this guy and his family and what he's trying to do. And
Yeah,
his
super cool.
legacy that he's pushing to continue, and with the platform of a band such as Khruangbin with their international reach, like that's awesome to kind of continue that story.
View had the idea for the project, and his manager recommended that he collaborate with Khruangbin. He didn't really know them beforehand. His manager's the one who put them in contact. So they meet in London, and View Torre goes to their show while they're playing in London. And he says, like, this is the band. And he has his people talk to their people, and it all happens. The whole album was done in just 1 week in their barn.
I love that we're still at the barn. Like,
They won't leave it. They love it. Ollie's 11 kids picked the songs that would be on the album.
amazing.
That's
It's
so
pretty
cute.
neat. Although there's only 8 songs on the album, so it's not like they each got one.
I feel like there
They
might
had
have
to
been some like
compromise.
doubling up.
Yep. To me, it's very much like, let's find a groove. We're going to play the groove until everyone dies and then fade out. But I do appreciate that there's some singing to kind of differentiate it. But a lot of these songs just go on for like a little too long for me,
And I would like to note that I like View's voice.
Yeah.
I like his voice a lot.
Sure. The Guardian gives this album a perfect 5 out of 5 stars.
Wow.
Did you just find like nice
Yeah.
reviews?
There's really
someone's got to have.
I think most people
not
who-
on this. Just I mean,
Yeah,
like generally
yeah.
throughout all of them.
Oh no, I usually find on other episodes I find scathing reviews and stuff. But most people who take the time to write about Khruangbin seem to do so out of love. They really
love
seem
that.
to love the band.
It's the lack of gatekeeping. Like
Yeah,
we just want to
yeah.
share the positivity.
Sure. Although I am willing to bet if they somehow get bigger, that's when the trolls are going to come out. This record hits 10 in Belgium and 47 in the UK. It does not chart in the USA. I can kind of see why. I don't know. I don't see this getting a ton of radio airplay. On April 12th of 2023, this year, the band announces that they will put out 5 live albums.
But they're
So-
live albums, so we won't talk about
Yeah, they're live albums.
We won't mention 'em.
And they include bands that they toured with.
Oh, cool. Who are some of those bands?
So Live at Stubbs includes Robert Ellis, the Suffers, Ruben Moreno, Kelly Doyle,
I don't know a single one of
yeah,
these
same.
people.
Radio City Music Hall, Nubia Garcia. Live at RBC Echo Beach includes Men I Trust.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do know them. Yeah.
I do know them.
And then Live at the Fillmore, which came out September 22nd. So literally last Friday. Toro y Moi.
Yeah.
Oh my
You
God,
Toro
I
y
love
Moi.
them.
Yeah, they have, and it's split. So it's like 5 songs from Toro y Moi and then 4 songs from Khruangbin.
Okay.
Hey, I hope this encourages people to not just listen to albums, watch the music videos, watch some interviews, and hear Mark's Southern accent at work. It's not like excessively heavy. It's like really smooth. Like it's like it's very nice. It's like butter.
Like that.
Not like that. I think my last thought is it's pronounced Khruangbin. People keep asking
me.
me like, wait, really? I'm sorry. How do I say this?
And I,
Duh. Learn Thai, you dumb idiot.
I don't shame them. I just provide the answer.
And then shame them.
No.
you dumb idiot.